Well, hello and welcome to this week's video on the Restosaga Classic Car Restoration YouTube channel. As you can hear, it's raining outside and it's pretty cold in here, so that's why I'm doing the video inside. Something a bit different this week, as we're comparing my 1976 Land Rover Series 3 88-inch diesel to the brand new 2019-2020 Land Rover Defender. I recently attended a dealer event and had the good fortune to look around the new Defender, which I was really pleased to do. And I thought it would be an interesting comparison to look at it versus my model here. So let's have a quick look around the two, and I'll try and chop and change this video and keep it interesting. So here we go. Just before I start a quick tour of this Land Rover and the new Land Rover Defender, I want to qualify what this video is all about. I have not yet ordered one of the new Defenders. At present I don't really have any plans to. Certainly not while only the 110 is available to order. If I was going to order a new one, I would order a 90, so that's a short wheelbase, because I think that's the classic Land Rover. I have no problem with the long wheelbase, but I own a short wheelbase one, and that is probably what I would go for. The edition I looked at was the first edition, so it comes with every conceivable extra, which is obviously very different to the basic 1976 Classic, which I am comparing it to. So before I go any further, I just wanted to clear that up. So let's have a look around this one and also the new one. I'm going to cut and shut this video a little bit, so hopefully you find it useful and enjoyable. So taking a quick look inside my own Land Rover, first of all, very basic is what comes to mind. Yes, it is raining inside the Land Rover just because I've had it out in the rain and it leaks. The new Defender, however, probably won't do that. Inside, configuration is actually quite similar to the new one. 2 front seats and a centre cubby / storage unit. Other than that, lots of exposed bolt heads and screws, which you'll also see on the new one in a little second. Controls, manual gearbox in this one, automatic in the new one, and you obviously have manual control over all the various knobs and switches for the gearbox, overdrive, etc. Whereas the new one was going to do everything else for you. So let's have a quick clip and a quick look around the new one in comparison. So looking up over that lovely new side step in this first edition, look into the cabin. 2 pedals as mentioned before. Central panel is quite complicated with lots of touch buttons. Automatic gearbox there and USB charging points. Lots of plastic, something you don't see in the old Series vehicle, but the exposed bolt heads there in the door do keep a bit of consistency according to the old model. Taking a look under the engine bay then, this is a straight diesel, no turbo on it. There was also a petrol built at the same time as this, whereas the new Land Rover has turbo diesel, a petrol, a 6-cylinder petrol, and also there's going to be I think a plug-in hybrid, certainly an electrified drivetrain as well. As mentioned before, automatic gearbox only, whereas this only ever had a manual. Will you be able to work on the new one yourself? I don't really know. I would imagine it's going to get more and more complicated as these new cars become more and more complex. But let's have a quick look around the engine bay of the new one and see what space there is there. Certainly in this one you could nearly stand in there beside the engine, which isn't really the case on the new one, so have a quick look around that. So then looking up over that lovely new wing and over those nice headlights, we look into the engine bay, where there certainly appears to be a lot more rubber hoses, plastic wiring, all the things you don't want to see in my opinion. Big plastic cover there in the engine, and I believe that's the diesel, although that wasn't confirmed at the time. As you can see, air conditioning off to the right hand side of your screen there. Not just as much room to work in the engine, but in the context of modern cars, maybe not just so bad. So maybe not just going to be as practical a vehicle as the old classic Land Rover is going to be, but still I'll have to reserve judgment until I get my hands on one myself. So having a little think about rear storage, apologies for my tent in here, that's where it stays. Storage space in the back of the new Defender is actually quite good. Still keeps the side opening rear door. The lamp assembly is quite similar, as you'll see in a little second. This has a good sized aperture, good flat floor. Maybe the load space is slightly compromised by the wheel boxes either side, but classic Land Rover didn't really change a huge amount from the very first 80 inches in 1948 all the way through to the last of the old style Defenders. Very open all the way through, which is not necessarily the case with the new one. Let's have a wee look at it and also what is available with it. So looking over the thick rear bumper, those lovely side lights off there to the left, we look inside this rear cabin. Lots of usable space, buttons off to the side there to control the electric deploying tow bar, charging points, the full back seats with hard casing on the back, which I think is very useful. Loads of useful space, and even a 3-point plug there just past, and that's the electric deploying tow bar. Having a quick think about styling, yes, it is raining out here. The old Land Rover, all the way through from 1948 through to the last of the Defenders, retained this boxy look, very squared off, a strong shoulder line, although that obviously came in with the Series 2, and a flat roof, flat sides. The new Land Rover, you can see the styling cues coming through. The grille, obviously in keeping with the current Range Rover line, has lost the rounded headlights, but the shoulder line is very clear. It's a styling cue that's been brought through. The side panel is a bit controversial, as I'm sure you'll all know about it, and the rear lights are retained. So I think Land Rover have done a great job with the styling. Let's have a look through at the new one in comparison to this one. So looking at these front lights, I really like them. The rounded light hinting towards the old, and the two smaller lights off to the left, very suggestive of previous generations. Quite an imposing front end, but a lot of plastic as well. How easy is that going to be to replace on if damaged off-road? High-rise bonnet, very chunky overall, but quite suggestive of the Range Rover line, but still going with the Defender name. I like this. Another look up the side of this one, apologies for the cardboard and the lawnmower. The new Land Rover, which I saw, was a first edition, so it obviously comes with pretty much every conceivable extra. It comes with a little storage box on the side, which you'll see in a second, and a ladder on the other side, which folds down, also a built-in roof rack. Obviously hinting towards a very usable off-road capable vehicle, and something which I'd be intrigued to look at whenever it comes out. Looking up this side of the Land Rover, this is the little ladder I was telling you about that folds down. I think it looks a bit fragile, to be honest, but leads up to a very healthy sized roof rack up there. Keeps the Alpine lights, as you can see in the middle of the screen, and the back door as seen there. Can't really see the side panels. Moving on to this side, I think a pretty useless little box on the side, but well shown in the image there is the side folding rear door with a rear mounted spare wheel. I really like the alloys on this particular model, as I think they're quite usable, though they might be prone to damage when they're off-road, and still keeps the classic mud flaps. Taking a quick look around the passenger side of the vehicle, there's more of those exposed bolt heads there. That aluminium panel in the dashboard is actually exposed bodywork, usable rubber matting which is easily brushed out, all hints to the older vehicle. Then moving around to the back, still quite keeping that rugged look. Those seats do fold forward to give you a decent area, and plenty of switches there in the middle. Moving on upwards in a little second, we will see the panoramic sunroof that was fitted to this particular vehicle, which I'd imagine is an expensive option. But plenty of room in the back and a good thick side step, which is hard to beat. Very solid closing rear door. Looking at a few of the options then, these are the interior and exterior colours, textile finishes, all a bit bland if I might say so myself. Come on Jaguar Land Rover, where's the old Maasai red, marine blue, all the classic colours. All priced accordingly, but I quite like the leather interior, especially that tan there at the end. And there you have it. That is my quick tour of the 1976 Land Rover Series 3 88-inch diesel as compared to the first edition Land Rover 110 Defender, probably the 2019-2020 model year. I'm not sure quite how they're going to refer to it. We've looked at the inside, the outside, the passenger areas, the controls, the engine bay, and also the styling and a few of the optional extras that are available. I hope you found this useful. Please let me know in the comments below what you think. Like this video if you did like it, and let me know how you would plan to use a new Defender if you had one, or even an old one if you have one. As ever, subscribe to the channel please. I reply to all my comments, and I will catch you again next week with a new video focusing on my own classic car fleet as per my normal programming. Thanks for watching.